Om Shri Mahaperiva Sharanam. Welcome back to our mathematics class. Okay, now we'll continue panna indha word problems. Ready? Okay. First question. Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa, is 5,895 meters above sea level. Tiberias, a city in Israel, is 210 meters below sea level. What's the difference between these two levels? What's the distance between these two levels? Pannungo. Mount Kilimanjaro, that is at a height of 5,895 meters above sea level. At the same time, Tiberias, that city is 210 meters below sea level. Okay. இப்போ இதுதான் sea levelனாக்க இதுக்கு மேலே 5,895 meters, இதுக்கு கீழே 210 meters இதாக்கும். So, what's the difference between these two levels? நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன்? What would you do? Distance between these two or difference between these two. So, what do you do? So, மேலே போகிறதுக்கு இவ்வளோ ஹைட்டு கீழே டெப்த் இவ்வளோனா you just need to add them, correct? So, what do? We add 5,895 and 210. We add 5,895 and 210. So, that gives you 6,105 meters. Okay. So, that is the distance between these two levels or the difference. Okay. Next question. A submarine is to ascend 55 meters if its current position is 720 meters below sea level. What will be its position after the ascent? Ascent na mala pogadhu. Okay, so how do we do that? Say suppose this is the sea level. Okay, inga ella now a submarine is to ascend 55 meters if its current position is 720 meters below sea level. Say suppose here is the submarine. Okay, that position is 720 meters below sea level, and if it has to ascend 55 meters, so it has to go up by 55 meters. What will be its position after the ascent? So, enna pannum? What do we do? It is at this depth and it has to rise by this. So, when it rises by this, at what position will it be? Let's see. Appo enna pananum? So, from 720 meters, you subtract 55 meters, correct? So, that will be this distance. Correct? Right? So, how much do you get the answer as? Work it out. $665 meters. So, it will be 665 meters but below sea level. Below sea level. Okay. Next question. A submarine situated at a certain position below sea level goes further down by 154 meters. If it is at a depth of 518 meters, from which position did it descend? Okay, descend na keela varudhu. Okay, say suppose this is the sea level. So, let's see. Suppose it was at this position, say, okay. Now, according to the question, it went further down by 154 meters. So, it went further down by 154 meters. Now, if it is at a depth of 518 meters, now, inga keela pononne now it is at a depth of 518 meters. Okay, so the question is, from which position did it descend? So it went down 154 meter and now it is at a height of, now it's here, right? That is at a height of 500, that's at a depth of 518 meters. So what was the original position? So adukku namba enna pannuvom? The same thing. 518 meters minus 154 meters, and that gives you 364 meters below sea level. Okay. So it had descended from the position of 364 meters below sea level. That was its original depth. Next, Mauryan Empire existed from around 322 BC to 185 BC in India. For how many years did it exist? So how will you do that? BC stands for before Christ, right? So say suppose this is 1 AD, adukku minadi ellam BC ah ponum. So say 322 BC, correct? That's before Christ. And this is somewhere here 185 BC. Okay, so this was the period of Mauryan Empire. So for how many years did that empire exist? So what do? We have to find the difference between these two. So how much would that difference be? 322 minus 185, that in years. How much do you get? 137 years. So the empire existed for 137 years in India. Okay. Next question. In a certain city, the night temperature was minus 16 degrees Fahrenheit. The next day, the temperature rose by 7 degrees Fahrenheit. What would have been the temperature the next day? So here what do we see? In a certain city, the night temperature was minus 16 degrees Fahrenheit. So if the temperature at night was minus 16 degree Fahrenheit and the next day the temperature rose by 7 degree Fahrenheit, what does it mean? We have to take 7 steps upward, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where does the 7th step lead to? Minus 9 degree Fahrenheit, which is the same as, see, minus 16, and we have to take 7 steps upward. That will give us minus 9. So the answer is minus 9 degree Fahrenheit. Okay. Next question. One day in the month of January in Srinagar, the temperature was 8 degrees Celsius. At night, it dropped to minus 5 degrees Celsius. By how many degrees Celsius did it fall? So here during the daytime, it was 8 degrees Celsius. This itself is quite cold. But at night, it dropped to minus 5 degrees Celsius. It dropped to minus 5 degrees Celsius. By how many degrees Celsius did it fall? So what do we do? Okay, so let's take 0 degrees Celsius is the base, right? From here, now original temperature during the day was 8 degrees Celsius, right? But then it dropped to minus 5 degrees Celsius during the night. So by how many degrees did it fall? So here we have 8 and here we have 5, but in the minus direction. But both of them add together to 8 plus 5, 13. So 8 degrees plus 5 degrees is 13 degrees. So the answer is the temperature fell down by 13 degrees Celsius. Okay, because it has to come all the way here and here. So heat has to cover 8 degrees Celsius here and 5 degrees Celsius here. So it has to come all the way here. It has come all the way here. So 8 plus 5, 13 degrees. So the temperature fell down by 13 degrees Celsius. Okay. Next one. Anju travelled from Tirupati to Tiruvannamalai, which is 194 kilometers south of Tirupati, and from there she travelled north to Vellore, covering a distance of 87 kilometers. Now, how far is she from Tirupati now and in which direction? How far is she from Tirupati now and in which direction? Okay. So how do we go about it? So let's say this is Tirupati. From here, she travelled to Tiruvannamalai, which is 194 kilometers south of Tirupati. And from there she travelled north. She is again travelling north. But this time she is covering only 87 kilometers and she is landing at Vellore. Okay. So the question is, how far is she from Tirupati now and in which direction? So after coming down from Tirupati for 194 kilometers, she is travelling upwards for 87 kilometers. So she just has to cover only this distance to come back to Tirupati. So from Tirupati, that distance, how do we calculate? We just subtract 87 from 194. 194 minus 87. That in kilometers, that's the distance. So what's the answer? Work it out. Yes, 107 kilometers. And in which direction? So right now she is at Vellore, which is to the south of Tirupati. So she is at a distance of 107 kilometers south of Tirupati. Okay. Next, Vijay travelled from Ghaziabad to Delhi, which is 43 kilometers west of Ghaziabad. From there, he travelled east to Rampur, covering 219 kilometers. How far is he from Ghaziabad now and in which direction? Similar type of question, but here it is east-west. So, Vijay travelled from Ghaziabad, say let's suppose this is Ghaziabad. Vijay travelled from Ghaziabad to Delhi, which is 43 kilometers west. Okay, 43 kilometers west, and he is travelling to Delhi. From there he travelled east to Rampur. So from Delhi he is travelling east to Rampur. Okay, covering 219 kilometers. Okay, this is Rampur. How far is he from Ghaziabad now and in which direction? So from Ghaziabad, from Delhi to Rampur, it is 219 kilometers. But when you come from Delhi back to Ghaziabad, already 43 kilometers have been covered. So what is the remaining distance? So how do you work it out? 219 kilometers minus 43 kilometers, which is equal to 176 kilometers. Okay, so Vijay is at a distance of this distance. Vijay is at a distance of 176 kilometers. Yes, east of Ghaziabad. Okay. Next question. There are 12 questions in a test. For each correct answer, a student is rewarded 5 points, and for each incorrect answer, 2 points are deducted. Dina had 4 incorrect answers. What would have been her total score? Dina had 4 incorrect answers. What would have been her total score? So there are 12 questions in a test. Now, Deena had 4 incorrect answers. That means out of 12 questions, 12 minus 4 will be 8. That means 8 questions were answered correctly. 4 were incorrect. Correct? So, 8 questions were answered correctly and there were 4 incorrect answers. Correct? Okay. So, total 8 plus 4, 12 questions. Now, according to the question, for each correct answer, the student is awarded 5 points. So, for each of these 8 answers, Deena would be awarded how many points? 5 points each. So, 8 into 5. What is her score? 40. Correct? And for each wrong answer, 2 points will be deducted. So, for 4 wrong answers and 2 points deducted for each wrong answer, 8 points will be deducted. So, she would be awarded 40 points and 8 points would be deducted. So, what will be the net score? Which will be 40 minus 8, which is equal to 32. So, the total score will be 32 points. Okay.
That's all for today's class. We'll meet in the next class. அடுத்த கிளாஸில் சந்திப்போம். ஓம் ஸ்ரீ மகாபெரிவா சரணம்.